Hey, and welcome to another episode of the Letter to My Children podcast. This week it's just myself. I've got more guests coming up, but I actually missed last week's one just due to the fact I actually lost my hard drive that I record all of this on, and frustratingly I just couldn't get one out. So today I'm just going to do another episode. I wanted to be consistent with this and actually keep turning up. So today I'm going to be talking about comparison and how I've seen it affect so many people and just the ways I've been able to look and deal with it. So comparison is awful if you let it be. There is a level of comparison where you compare what you're doing and what someone else is doing, and if you take positives away from it and look at the things that they're doing well and go, well, how could I implement into my work? You get a lot of answers into things other people are doing that's successful. Now, obviously, by being able to visually see and hear what other people are doing, that's amazing because you do get to learn so much more. However, the flip side of it can be that if you let it get too much, you will then lose the fact of why you're doing it. You will just constantly think you're not good enough, you're not able to, and then obviously you can just go down a rabbit hole of just deeper issues that you suddenly start thinking about, and you've got no real reason why or actually an answer to, is it actually true? Because you've got no idea, and most of it isn't true. So I'll use an example of this. I was on a photo shoot 2 years ago, and it just happened to be I was talking to the person yesterday, and I remember getting onto the shoot, and all they kept talking about was one person. It was just one person who has been very successful, still quite young, and he just wasn't scared of going out and being himself. And on the photo shoot, they kept just mentioning little bits about him and just how he was operating and what he was doing. And I remember just sitting there thinking, why do you keep talking about this guy? And they just went, well, he's doing everything right. We can't seem to get it right. We can't seem to do all of this. And I was like, well, okay, let's look at some of the facts here instead of just using what you think's going on in your brain. I was like, how long have you guys been doing this? And they were actually only been online coaches for about 8 months. You know, they were still tinkering in a few other little bits and pieces just because they needed money coming in. But they're only 8 weeks down their journey. Now, they're both in fairly good shape. They're both and they're amazing people. I work with them quite a lot now. But they were really just focused on how much better this other guy was. And so I said to them, you've not been in the game long. How many years do you think this other guy's done it? And he said, well, probably years. So I said, well, why would you compare yourself if you've only just started? Of course you're going to not, the likelihood is you're not going to be as good as someone who's been doing it for years. You could see the penny drop a little bit, and they were like, yeah, okay, but this, and this. And it was almost like they wanted to hold on to the fact that they weren't as good as this person. And I was like, well, have you actually thought about the logic of what you're doing here? Because all you keep doing to yourself is telling yourself that you're not as good as that other person. How are you going to get anywhere? And all this is about is you thinking a certain way instead of you thinking about why you're actually doing all of this. So you've come into this, let's say for example, as an online coach, you want to help other people change their bodies, lose weight, gain confidence, get a stronger mindset, unlock a lot of things. Now, that's what you're focusing on with your clients, right? You should be focusing on that, not whether you're as good as someone else. Now, the likelihood is that other person that you potentially might have been comparing yourself to, or the other person that you just keep putting up on a pedestal, they've even been doing it longer, or they've just naturally got some skills or tricks, or they've actually just hired a business coach much earlier on and they've learned a lot of the lessons. Because there is a lot of people out there that have got great charisma, they've got great personality, they can just talk to camera, it doesn't fluster them, they don't get stuck. Whereas other people lose that personality. I see it every week when people come in to do content that they just get stuck. They're just like, I don't know what to say. And this always goes down to the point that you've forgotten why you're doing it, right? For me, I do everything that I do here to give my children and my wife a better future. I also, at the same time, not as much to the percentage-wise, but I also do this because I realise there's a lot of other people out there that need someone that can push the limits and also push them out their comfort zone. They need someone that they can trust, so that they can rely upon to say some of the things that bother them. It doesn't go any further than that, but also they've got it off their chest and now they can see differently. It's almost giving them a space to just say what's happened, okay? And through seeing that so many times and going through that conversation with people about why are you doing this? You know, what is that deeper purpose? Some people are getting over something that they really want to overcome. You know, it's part of their journey, which is amazing. Some people have had traumatic starts to their life, and the level of trauma is only measurable by how much it affects that person. You know, if you can deal with it as the trauma is bad, maybe you're a stronger character, so it doesn't hurt you as much, but you still are affected by it. Other people really do kind of get blocked by it. And so when I was talking to this couple, I just said, look, what have you actually got to say about where you are at, other than the fact that your business isn't doing big figures or anything like that just yet? What have you got to say and proof that you aren't as good as what you say you are, or you're not going to be as good as what this other person was? And they went quiet for probably about 30 seconds, and they went, well, nothing. I was like, well, okay, so that's a really good start. Second of all, you've only been doing this 6 months and you're already making a couple of £1,000 a month, which for most people is amazing. Like, most people couldn't just start up a business and start making money straight away. They'd have to do something in order to like go and work for someone to be able to earn that money. So that's a huge positive. You're only early in your journey, so that means that you have got plenty of scope and potential with this to actually do something bigger and more. Yeah? And also that other person, if you actually talk to them, because I know them quite well, do you know the struggles that they've had to overcome and the things that they struggle with and doubt and the conversations in their mind that get them stuck? Oh no, I've got no idea. So you're comparing yourself to someone's ideal reel, let's put it out, and their success. Instead of, what are you doing? How much can you achieve? How much are you going to achieve? And what is the potential of you reaching this unbelievable place where the comparison just isn't even a thing? You just think it's something that's stupid and funny when you did in the past because you were young and naive to what you were doing. Or you just didn't really think about actually, like, if I just focus on what I need to do instead of what I think I should do, then I'll get to where I want to be. So comparison can be the thief of joy. It's the thing that takes you away from feeling like you're good enough, that you can do more, you can help more people. And also at the same time, it just stops you allowing yourself to just act in the way that you should. Many people out there don't want a coach that's putting on two different personalities. They talk differently on their stories and on their page, and then you see them in person, they're completely different. You know, I see people that sit here in front of me and they'll go, so protein is the resource that allows you to repair the muscles after a workout. And then literally the videos will stop and you'll go, right, okay, where did your personality go? And they go, yeah, I just really struggle. I can't believe every time, and you're just thinking, hang on, there was a person there, like, when you talk, your natural self come out and we'll have a bit of a laugh at that. And the camera comes on and you stop being you. And the thing is, if you ask any one of your clients, they've got enough of their own hurdles going on. They've got enough of their own stuff going on. They don't want to be dealing with someone that's almost got two personalities, someone that doesn't think they're as good as someone, and someone that's trying to tell me they're going to give me confidence. It just doesn't make sense. And then it really does show to the world that you're preaching to people, I'm going to give you confidence, when realistically, where's your confidence? So my only thing to leave this with, and I wanted to do a shorter podcast because I'm actually going to do some shorter episodes on this so that they're just little tidbits of just information and hopefully advice that I can put out there, is if you are comparing yourself, one of the best things you can do is probably message that person and say, thank you for inspiring me. Thank you for realising that I should do more with myself, and the fact that you're doing all these things is incredible. You'll probably be very surprised at the message that comes back, probably somewhere along the lines of, trust me, I have my own stuff going on. Thank you for reaching out, this means a lot. I was having a bit of a lull in my business and actually it's made me realise that I'm inspiring other people. What an amazing thing to be able to do, that not only have you helped them, the person that you look up to, but also you've realised they're just like you. And also, if you do then reach out to them, you're just saying to yourself, hey, I'm not comparing myself to you, I'm just saying that thank you for inspiring me, thank you for showing me the way. It completely takes off those barriers, and then you go back home and go, okay, now I'm feeling good, I've done something positive. If that person doesn't message back, cool, at least I said what I wanted to say and I was being the real version of me. which then allows you to continue on being the real version of you, which means talking, which means just presenting yourself in the way you want to, where you're going to attract clients through just the way you talk and the way you think and the way you allow yourself to be. Instead of you trying to be someone different, to not allow yourself to just enjoy being you, because the world doesn't need multiple of that same person. The world needs lots of individual people who have their own individual skills, which allow all of us to grow bigger and better. So if you are comparing yourself right now and you do struggle with it, I do generally think that we've just got to set some bigger goals in place and actually get deeper on why you do it. Now, a lot of people do struggle to go as deep as probably what they need to do, hence why obviously the business that I set up, and this isn't a plug, but the businesses that I set up is to basically help unlock that in people and give them the space to find it. Because the way I put this to a lot of people is, let's say you were going to build a building and the base is here. You know the fundamental foundations underneath aren't as solid as what they can be, but you want to grow this massive thing that shoots up to the sky, okay? It is going to be so much easier and in the long run, better for you to go deeper to make sure that it's solid and the foundation is there and that you can build upon it and it's safe to, so you can go up. If you compare it to the Burj in Dubai, they had to go miles down to build some really solid foundations and build something that was secure enough for not only the tallest building in the world to sit on, but also to be a focal point so it doesn't suddenly fall over in the future. And it's built in a way that is actually flexible with nature and the world that's around it, not just trying to think, if I just hide all these things and compact them down and then build upon it, if in the future it crumbles, all of that poor foundation work will come out. So you're better to do the deeper work first, like many of us have done and many of the people that have succeeded have done, to really understand who they are, why they're doing it, and also what their long-term plan is. What is that mission that they're on in life to overcome and achieve? Because when you do that, I promise you, the easiest side of life comes out, where you feel more fulfilled, you stop procrastinating, you stop comparing yourself, which is obviously why we're talking today. And also you just can reach your potential, which if you do that, you'll probably find that a lot of these issues go away. Then it's just a case of actually learning how to run a bigger business and also just being around people that have a clearer mindset. Instead of being stuck by yourself, and this is often where social groups, networks, and often people, if you can be around people that are pushing those next levels and just ask conversations, have conversations and ask questions, that's typically where you're going to get the answers from. Because most people aren't scared to talk about what they did, how they did it, what they had to overcome on their journey. Because for them, talking about it again and getting clearer on it allows them to just understand new things. The amount of conversations I've had with people where I've said something and thought, I said really interesting, I've never said it that way. And yet I'm someone who's gone through it all before. That was part of the reason why I wrote a letter to my children in the first place, through comparison. So that for me was something where I said, actually, why am I doing this? And that was what took it back to why. So instead of comparing myself to the person I was comparing myself to, it was actually about where am I going, what am I doing, how am I doing it. So I hope that helps. That was just a blast from inside of my brain about comparison. I will be doing more episodes. I've got more people coming on, so I'm super excited to keep pushing this and actually sharing more of these journeys with you. I hope you found this useful. And if you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe to the channel. The more people we can impact, the better it's going to be.